Always a great day to get out a shotgun, and boy do we have a cool shotgun to show you. You guys probably remember when we did our video on the Axe Henry 410 here. Well, we have SBS this gun now, so we've got a nice short little configuration with a proper stock. This is definitely a lot more like it, okay? Very handy little package. Beautiful brass frame on this particular gun. We're going to shoot it and also share some of our findings with you guys. In the first video, we had a few little hiccups with some ammo and stuff, so I want to kind of pass along some information that we learned about this gun as we go. But this is cool, you know, 5 in the tube, 1 in the chamber, so you got a 6-shot 410 shotgun. So we are going to be playing with a 410 here today. Let's get a few shots in and we'll talk a little bit more as we go. All right. All right, good looking stuff. Hope everybody's having a great day and thanks for tuning back in. Before we get started, I would like to thank our friends at Sonoran Desert Institute for supporting our videos. SDI has some amazing distance learning programs in the field of gunsmithing technology. If you want to learn about reloading, gunsmithing, check them out. They got some awesome curriculum, amazing instructors, wonderful distance learning opportunities for you. They accept a ton of different financial aid. So check them out, Sonoran Desert Institute, SDI, and tell them we sent you, and a big thanks to them for supporting our efforts here on the channel. Okay, so we went through and we SBS this thing, and it was just a simple stock swap. It's the same exact gun as before. I didn't do anything to it. I thought maybe we would adjust the extractor or polish the chamber a little bit, thinking that that's why we were getting a few shells sticking in the gun. And we promised to do a revisit on this, so I wanted to revisit it. I did pick up 4 different brands of ammunition, and the first time around we had really good luck out of the Hornadies, I believe. And what we end up finding out is that 410 can be a little bit finicky, and I'm going to explain why. So here are some BPS slugs that we picked up, and I opted for shotgun slugs and buckshot because I like to use defensive ammo in 410s. This thing runs birdshot loads, no problem, but it's just getting in some of the higher pressure loads where we've had a few little tiny hiccups. These balloon head cases, they're drawn in a different way compared to some of the other rounds that are out there, and I noticed that if you go on the website and look at some of this 410 ammo, it'll mention that it's for like a single shot or a double or a cape gun or a German drilling or something that might have a shotgun barrel in it, and that a lot of these balloon head cases are really more best suited for revolvers or maybe a single shot rifle or something like that. Now I don't know if it's maybe that the chamber on the lever guns is not 110% fully supported. What led me to possibly believe that is that now on this brand of ammo, this I guess it's like some of this Turkish 410 ammo. It's Boom AGC ammo. Now that's not a dig on this AGC ammo, but you notice this really short, low brass hole that's on this one, and look how much of a balloon head case that is. Look how much it blows out. And sure enough, you can see a couple of areas here where, because of this balloon head case is super soft and super malleable, you can see where it expanded out. And it's like maybe the chamber doesn't have 110% full support in the rear. I did test out some of those 410 loads in my Mossberg 500. I've got little 410 Mossberg 500, and they work just fine. Now, I'm not sure if that is maybe just a difference in the design or what, but I wanted to pass that information along. Now, I picked up some Sterling. These are 410 shotgun slugs from Sterling Ammunition. These also appear to be a balloon head case, but they don't, it's like the case head is thicker. If you look at the thickness on the BPS and on the Boom, it just seems like it's got a much more malleable case that it's just not quite as thick or durable. But as you get into the drawn cases and the thicker high brass cases, you don't really have a problem with that expansion. So those were some Sterlings that I ran there in the beginning, and we can see that all of those don't have that weird violent expansion. Those look normal. So I don't know if it's just a quirk about the design of the gun itself or what, but let's check out some of this 410 here from Federal. We got some Federal Personal Defense 410 handgun. This is 4 pellets of triple-aught buckshot running at 850 feet per second. Now, if you look at these cases, you can see that these are more indicative of a proper, like, drawn case. But you can see these are super thick, super tough, and a more proper sort of drawn case, if you will. So I'm going to take 6 of these, and let's see how this triple-aught buckshot patterns here out of the 410. Now this is just a smooth bore with a bead on it, and I SBS this because I wanted this to be like a good little snake gun, you know, for riding around on the four-wheeler. You know, you see a critter with no legs and no shoulders, and you know that you need to, you know, probably deal with it. All right, so there's 6 rounds. Let's try out the Federal here and see how it does. This is plated triple-aught buckshot. Good looking pattern there. Okay. Up. He just couldn't handle that little 410 smacking him, could he? Now, that's more like it. That's a great pattern out of that particular ammo. I think the common denominator that we are discovering with this particular gun, with the axe, I don't know if all the axes are like this, but the one common denominator we're discovering is that as long as you're using a high brass cartridge of reasonable thickness that's not overly malleable, or something with more of a traditional, you know, kind of drawn modern case, you're not going to have a problem out of any 410. But it does seem that like 410s out of all the different shotguns can tend to be the most picky, especially when you get into an auto loader. Like we've got a few 410 Segas, and they're cool, but they're not without their quirks. It's almost like how you look at rimfires, how when they work, they work. When they don't work, they don't work. But I wanted to share some of the findings that we had about the balloon head cases and to see if anybody else had had a similar run-in. Probably most people that are running shotguns are going to be running birdshot. I mean, for snakes, you're going to be running some sort of a shot or whatever. But I personally am more of a buckshot or slug sort of person with shotguns, which that slug weighs, in the Sterling here, we're talking a slug that weighs 1/4 ounce and is moving 1,345 feet per second. So a shotgun slug out of a 410, you know, you're probably getting, I guess that would put it kind of in the territory of being like a heavy 38 special, maybe a light 357 Magnum in terms of power, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe a 32 or something like that, a 32 H&R or a 32 Magnum, you know, kind of in that ballpark in terms of energy. But let's try a few more slugs. Now we do have some items of fleshy and liquidy consistency down here. So let's try a few of our shotgun slugs out. This gun is drilled and tapped for a base. You could totally put a little scope on this thing if you wanted to. And, you know, for like 50-yard food plot hunting for deer or something, you could totally use this little rig for that purpose. I personally, you know, before I opted for a 410, I'd probably try to do something like a 357 Magnum or a 44 Magnum. Henry does make their Mayor's Leg pistols and a variety of different handgun cartridges. So if you were looking for an SBS, or SBR rather, we have done a full video on the 44 Magnum version of the Mayor's Leg in SBR form if you want to check that out. And that gun is quite the performer. It's very, you know, compact, a very handy package, very decent power. But just for fun, we are going to shoot a couple of slugs here out of the 410. And I love how this particular gun is set up. You know, it's nice and lightweight, it's short, it's handy, it's easy to maneuver, right? This is a great gun for a young person or someone of smaller stature to shoot. It's not as long and ungainly. If you are going to use something like this in the field, like, I don't know, some people hunt, you know, deer with 410 slugs. I personally would probably opt for something a little bit more powerful, but it can be done. Let's try a couple of these sodas. We got a little honeydew, watermelon. Let's see how those 410 slugs impact these. Okay. All right, I'm gonna try the soda on the far right first, and then I'll work my way over. Uh-oh. Okay, we got a watermelon right under it. Honeydew. Wow. Doesn't really seem to shoot those slugs super accurately. Let's see. Now we do have a choke in there. That's interesting. All right, we're gonna try again. This time we're gonna use the little triple-aught buckshot. which seem to pattern beautifully in this particular gun. I wanted to showcase this little shotgun off because I thought it was cool, and there are a lot of people that are wanting us to kind of have a closer look at some of the little teething issues with the ammo, and I think we kind of got that figured out pretty well for the most part. I do like this setup a lot, and this is a great shotgun to expose somebody to that maybe they've never dealt with a lever action shotgun and they want something that's light and easy to shoot and everything like that. 410 doesn't quite get the respect that it deserves because I think 410 has its place. Maybe it's not correct for me to use a 410 in a way where it's like, hey, I'm trying to launch solids. Maybe buckshot and birdshot is where these things are going to really excel, especially as good as this personal defense ammo, the federal stuff, as good as it patterns. I would almost rather shoot a snake with that over birdshot anyway, especially giving myself a bit of extra distance. So let's try again. That melon came apart pretty good, but we missed a few of our targets here with our slugs, which is surprising. Now we just have a big old brass bead on this thing. There's no real sights other than just a shotgun bead, but let's try the triple aught and see how it does. We'll start out with a soda, and we got a pumpkin down there too. I think we ought to try to smack him a time or two as well and see what kind of an impact we get. All right, soda. Honeydew. Soda. Oh! Okay, I think we can hit that pumpkin from here with some slugs. I want to see what kind of damage those slugs are going to wind up giving us. And it looks like extraction-wise, this thing is holding up just fine for us. I'm going to go ahead and top it back off. I love the brass frame on this gun, although I will say, out of all the Henrys that I've shot and owned, that color case hardened 357 Magnum takes a cake. It's one of the smoothest lever actions I think I've ever shot. I mean, just like riding on glass. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I mean, that's one of the smoothest Henrys ever. If you have a chance to check out the color case hardened version, they're great. Okay, so we're gonna end this video by shooting at this poor pumpkin down here. This thing was just sitting in a patch, minding its own business. Wasn't trying to do anything to anybody, and I just had to go to the store and pick them up. So, all right, I'm gonna shoot. I've got 6 slugs. Let's see if maybe we can, I don't know, either shoot a smiley face on this thing, or let's just see what kind of damage these slugs do. So that's a 1/4 ounce of lead traveling at 1345. That's yielding some pretty decent energy, so let's see how these work. All right. I'm gonna go grab this pumpkin. We'll see what it looks like. I'll be right back. All right, so that was our slugs. That's the entrance going in, the exit. I mean, obviously it's safe to say that a slug is gonna go through a pumpkin without too much effort. But that's an interesting footnote there. You know, I think 410s have their place. You know, people are going to say different things about 410 as a shotgun bore. Some people like them, some people hate them. I think they have their place. I wanted to share my findings and share the information that we come up with on the axe. I think the axe is a fantastic gun, and I think it's definitely a worthy SBS conversion. If some of you are looking for something short and handy, this might be something some of y'all want to look into. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon.